All right, Shalom Israel. Shalom Israel. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside them. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and shalom to the elect whom the Lord hath given ears to hear. And I want to entitle this lesson, Edom is here today. The spirit beareth the spirit beareth witness. Now, I'm going to go into some very well-known precepts. Been watching brothers. You would know these precepts by heart pretty much. So this is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where? And who is he? So, who is the wicked? Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom, so subject matter is Esau, Edom. I'll start at verse 3. I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return. Salakia, 1 second. I gotta be Alright, the water. And Salakia, like I said, I'm on a plantation, so I gotta be wise. So this is Malachi, again, Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. That word border going to the word Gabawal, meaning territory, the region. All right. So this is the territory of wickedness. Esau, Edom, where he's ruling at, represents wickedness. I always bring it out because I believe it's a very valid point through the spirit. Under which rulership, right, has there been 2 world wars? Only one rulership has been like that. And who's been ruling? All right, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. He is the wicked. The spirit bears witness that he is the wicked. When you look at the news today, all right, there's constant talks of, building a military arsenal. There's talks of, pretty much going away from, building a sustainable future for the citizens, but focusing more so on your military arsenal. All right, because essentially this world is heading towards World War III, and that's another world war. That's another sign, another spiritual sign showing you who's ruling today. And what sparked this lesson is that the guys on the job, they were having a conversation. I can't remember exactly how it started. Oh, So, you know how people normally talk about, I think the point came up to where one guy asked, where do white people come from? And so, you know, everybody gave their opinion. I'm just listening through the spirit. And at one point, one guy, which I believe he's an Amalekite, but he's Italian. You know, I believe he said that he was born and raised in Italy. And lo and behold, he says that he looked up his ancestry and it goes back to the Greeks. So I'm laughing in my head, you know, because we spiritual, and you know, we judge all things, all conversation, and so on and so forth. So I'm laughing in my head because that's Esau, Edom. All right, and when we go into the Apocrypha, this First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So evils will be multiplied when the wicked are in rulership. The wicked, as we just brought out, and Malachi 1 and 4 is synonymous with Esau, Edom. The scriptures speak on how in the last days you will have a power that will run throughout the earth, taking peace from it. And again, when you talk about another world's war, you essentially are inferring that the people are going to mourn. You know, I was watching this guy, what's his name? Richard Wolff, right? It says,
if you're not worried,
right?
you ought to be, and you must not be paying. If you're not worried, you ought to be, and you must not be paying attention. Let me.
Right? So I'm not going to play too much of it. But, you know, I had to play that first part because it's true. We are under the wicked. And again, when you go into a world's war, you go into a time of great turmoil, great depression for the people. Right? Great depression for the people. As even he, spells out. You know, Europe right now, they have to focus more on defense spending. Whereas right now, he was breaking it down. If you're in Europe, you know, if you're a citizen of Europe, if you have a job, you're automatically granted 5 weeks of vacation automatically. Also, you are, as a citizen, you are granted a lifetime's worth of medical benefits. But he pretty much was saying how, you know, and it's a good channel, Breakthrough News. I just came across it this morning, actually. But he was pretty much saying how now that, you know, the announcement has been made that Europe has to focus more on military spending, it's going to come at the comfortability of the people, because who's going to fund these wars? You know, and that's the time we're living in. We're living in uncomfortable times. And you know, as I'm watching this guy, I'm also meditating on this precept where it says, you know, because you may just say we speaking out of emotion, if you will, but even the scriptures say that these economies will back us. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 3. In the day, let me start at the top. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. All right. So as the prophets are still out here, you are also, this time also represents the days of your youth, because the evil days have not necessarily swept the earth yet. And Salakia, I'm trying to speak as loud as possible. But like I said, I'm on a job, and want to be Clark Kent. So this is why the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. All right, because at the end of the day, World War III will come with great fire upon various parts of the earth, especially upon the whole of America. Which the scriptures call it. Shalaki, 1 second, Aki. What's the scriptures called? Babylon the Great. So it says, and the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves. Right, so as you see, I have the etymology for the word economy, where it says household management, from Latin oeconomia, source of French economie, right? But pretty much you're going into household management. So the keepers of the house are these economists. Jerusalente, I would consider this guy the economist. What's his name? Richard Wolff, and so on and so forth. All right. So again, the point of me bringing out this precept is just to show you that even in addition to the prophets, right, we have other sources to back us up. And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the keepers of the house, the economists, they're looking ahead, or even at the current times, of course, and they're comparing it to various crashes. A lot of times you will hear they compare the times we're living in now to be even worse than the '08 crash. I believe it was a point that he mentioned. Right, recession is looming in the U.S. again. Europe is becoming increasingly irrelevant in the global economy. Let me get the So it says Monday of the last week, the Atlantic Federal Reserve Bank released its latest estimate from what is going to happen to the GDP, or the gross domestic product, of the United States this year, which the GDP goes into pretty much what America produces to the world. And I mean, of course, it's going to go down because companies are going bankrupt and closing down. It says 2025, the most recent earlier estimate a few weeks ago, was in line with a general notion that it will be somewhere around 2%, maybe a bit more. The number released yesterday is that the GDP in this year of the United States will decline by 2.8%. So you got the GDP going down and the deficit rising, right? What's the deficit is more debt that the government is putting on itself, right? So it's, in other words, you're making less income and you're gaining more debt. That's called a major recession. That's the prediction of the Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank, and that information changes in a worsening direction. Almost anything and everything we can talk about the impact of the tariffs, the war economies that are being revved up in Europe, right? What we are seeing is a level of desperate acts that are desperate because even though the chances of their succeeding are small, enormous risks are being taken, right? And I said check it out. But yeah, we are not in a time of prosperity because the wicked is in rulership, and the Lord has it in the cards for this man to fall. I believe that's Isaiah 14. Oh, Psalms 137 and 8. O daughter of Babylon. The daughter of Babylon and Esau is synonymous. What's that? Jeremiah 49. Right, Jeremiah 49 and 17. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. So, and then let's jump to Jeremiah 50 and 13. Let's start at 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded, the mother of America, or who spawned America, is Great Britain. It tells us that in Revelation, the 17th chapter, I believe it's the 17th chapter, how the age shall come of the 7th, because America will come of Great Britain. All right, going into the 7 heads, because Great Britain is one of the 7 heads. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. So again, Jeremiah 50 and 13 says the same thing as Jeremiah 49 and 17, both representing Esau, Edom, which represents the wicked, which is in rulership today, right? So yeah, man, this place is on its way out. World War III is screaming. Let me look up some news real quick. Oh, not to mention that the doomsday clock, right, which a doomsday clock, it was actually created after in a nuclear arms race, pretty much around the time of the ending of World War II, when America dropped bombs on Japan. All right, and it was only a matter of time before all these other nations would gear up, especially Russia, and which the doomsday clock would be invented. So yeah, well, I got you brothers here. Let me see. It says World War II space battles. Experts predict what world could look like in 10 years. Wow. So look, it says according to experts, A war would not end well for the Ukrainians. It would also lead to a decline in America's economic and diplomatic dominance. World War III is inevitable and will likely start within the next 10 years. A new survey conducted by the Atlantic Council, a global affairs think tank in Washington, has revealed. The survey saw over 300 experts weighing in on what the world could look like in 2035, while some of them predicted that a world war involving major nations like the US, China, and Russia will likely break out in 2035. Others said climate change will be the second greatest threat in the world in the next 10 years. According to Daily Mail, the new survey involved 357 political strategists and foresight practitioners who weighed in on the future of humanity. The group of experts analyzed current events, predicting how certain laws, regulations, military launches could predict the world of 2035. 4 in 10 global strategists predicted a world war involving major nations like the US, China, and Russia. They also said that conflict would likely involve nuclear weapons and battles in outer space. So yeah, man, we in them times, man. And then I'm not gonna keep reading into it, but it's yeah, we've been saying there's no shock, right? But again, it's not just us, right? The spirit beareth witness, of course, but even these other, scientists, the economists, like the scriptures say, that young men shall dream dreams. So all this is happening right now, right? Another major prophecy to keep up with is, let's see, right? So you're going to constantly see videos like brain implants, right? Implants here, implants there. Who is it? Where did I see that? The elder brother out there in Vegas, he did a lesson going into how a lot of these Walmarts and Walgreens and whatnot, I believe it was Walgreens as of yet, are changing their freezer section doors onto that which could be opened up with an RFID chip. So that's no coincidence. That's in accordance to Revelation 13 and 16. Which the outcome of that, which will be Revelation 14 and 9 or World War III, where nuclear missiles will be shot off. So if that, Lo willing you Akim and Akwaf were edified, shalom to the elect.